Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Turning Pages podcast, brought to you by 𝗏𝗏 Vietnam Library. I'm Giang, your host for today, and today we'll have another special guest. She is a digital media undergraduate and also a freelance illustrator. Let's welcome Chau for the show today. Hi Chau, how are you today?
I am doing good. How about you?
I'm really excited for the show today. So, since people here are really curious about you, can you please introduce about yourself more? But I have a little challenge for you. You have to include a word book in your introduction. Can you do it?
Yeah, I could go the easy route.
Okay, so let's do it.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Chau. As Yang has introduced, I'm a digital media student. Also a freelance illustrator. I draw a lot. I basically do everything, and one of my favorite books is graphic design history because I am addicted to it.
Okay, cool. I can see that you have a really huge interest about books, right? So when were the times that books that help you get you through your life when you are in trouble or you are struggling?
Okay, so I have two times. One is when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, my mom put me into like extra class a lot. So if I have some free time, I would read books. So basically it became my escapism, and it trained me how to do creative stuff, because the thing is, when you read book, there's no visual. So when you have to think of it by yourself. That's why when I read books and I can imagine things, and that really honed my creativity skills. So yeah, that's the first time I was like, oh, books is doing something to me. I think
Wow,
so.
that's cool.
And then the second time is when I was in RMIT. We learn in a different way compared to like high school and stuff, right? There's a lot more research by ourselves and stuff. That's why I start to read books to understand about all my courses, what they are about, all the theory and stuff. So that's the second times where I feel like I really like books.
So it's when you're a kid, it's about entertaining, and then when you're an undergraduate, it's about research and development, right?
Yeah.
So could you tell me exactly which book was the first one that honed your creativity and imagination when you were a kid?
Okay, so I'm gonna be real. It was princess book.
Oh, that's cool.
They
That's
have
okay.
visual, but the thing is, I don't like those visuals. I don't like those princess visual. So what I do is I imagine another princess, another design and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I love princess stuff. Like, I'm not afraid to admit it, but I love princess stuff. They are so cute and so slay, and I love it. Yeah.
So what about when you're an adult? Like which genre of books would you usually choose for your research and development?
Usually, I would say if I have an assignment or course, I would choose book that's specifically for that course. But normally, I would choose something on the psychological side, or just in psychology and also in design. So I have some books here. I like. There's a Animator Survival Kit is my Bible. My lecturer recommended to me, and this graphic design history, the one I say I'm in love with. I love it so much. It's one of my babies, and the other stuff down here, I will talk about it later, but these are also my babies.
So since I don't have much knowledge about digital media, can you explain to me why do you also read the psychological books? What is the relation between psychology and digital media?
So one thing about digital media is when you work, you have to think of a design thinking process, and in there the first step is empathy. How do you understand people? Because the base of what we do, the design, is we have to communicate what our client wants and also what ourselves want, but usually it's just client, and you need to understand about people. And the base of design is about humans. We are communicating what our client wants, we communicate what we want. And in design thinking, they have a process called empathy. Is the first step of everything. So when I read about psychology, basically I'm trying to learn more about what people think, how they act, and what affect people, and everything related to that. That's why I'm really into psychology book. Like I just start picking it up, but it helped a lot for part where I learn about the user experience, which is UX UI. That's why I love it so much. And I would totally recommend everyone to do it, not even in design, but just read about psychology, understand people, be nice. Yeah.
So besides psychology, would you recommend any genres of book that may relate to digital media?
I think fiction in general, because fiction is really about world building, character building, and we do the same thing in digital media, just in visual. So that's what I would recommend. Just do some fiction, but just just read what you like. I don't know, to hone your skills, hone your views on the world. Just do whatever you want. Yeah.
So basically, what you mean is fiction may have honed your imagination skills and creativity, and maybe research and development as well, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, how has your perception of self-identity and self-awareness has been influenced after you have read those books?
I think first let's talk about the psychology thing, and then we go to the design thing, which is one of my things. That's why I talk about it a lot. So psychology-wise, I think it let me understand deeper into myself, like how did I grow up to be like this, how everything around me shaped me, and how I should deal with other people. It just make me calmer. I used to be very hyper, but now I'm kind of calmer, kind of. But yeah, so that's on the psychology side. Make me realize how I should deal with the world. And then there's design. Design is my passion, is my life thing. I think I would do it for my whole life. And I think that reading books on design is, I went from, I kind of understand a little bit about it, to I think I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life. Is expanding a lot of realm, because when you search online, right, there's like, oh, you just think, oh, there's only this amount of jobs, this amount of work in design. But then when you actually read the books, and you'll be like, wow, there's a lot more. And I learned deeper, there's more things to it, there's more realm to design. Design is not really just this part, is like a whole world. That's why I think reading books about design really make me realize, okay, I really like design. I would like to do this for the rest of my life, yeah.
So when you are standing between your decisions, like maybe I would do this major or maybe I would do design, so is there any go-to book that hone your decision that, oh, after I read this book, I really must go into design? Is there any book?
I don't think so, because I choose it based on my passion for drawings, but the books that help me like just understand more about what I do, because it's not only art, it's also design. It's two different things that's kind of similar. So it's about, this book here is graphic design and history, is about all the genres, all the movement of art and design is all been in here. I learned about it a lot. I know what I like and pinpoint why do I like it. I ask myself, why do I like it? Why do I want to do it? And what others before me have done it. So I recommend this book. There's a lot in the library, actually. I recommend you just go check it out. There's like 4 versions of it.
Can you open a random page and introduce to people?
Oh my God, a random? Okay, I'm gonna close my Bauhaus. Bauhaus is one of the, as I remember, don't quote me on this, but it's one of the first, design schools. There's a movement that I really enjoy from Bauhaus. It's not really in Bauhaus, but it's after Bauhaus. It's Swiss style, where it's all about cleanliness, how to deliver what the client wants, less is more. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite design movements, and I use it in my daily work, and that's one of my design style. And please research
cool.
about Bauhaus. It's amazing. Learn about it. It's good.
So, do you have any psychological books that may help you get through your, teenage period?
I think I only get over it recently because I picked up that book. I think, okay, so it's called The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. It's one of the books that people read when they learn psychology, and I just happened to pick up that book based on recommendation. And it's really, but it's more on children's psychology and how trauma affect them. And just by reading it, I can learn something about how the brain works, how people development work, and how the environment around people gonna make them who they are. So if you read into that, you will learn a lot about, okay, why does this person be like this, and why does that person be like that? But it's just a reference to what you think on it. So I would recommend that book, and I'm still reading it. It's a very tough read because it's kind of chaotic, and it's harsh. Like, you cannot read it in one go. You have to read it, put it down, think about it, pick it up again. So I'm still at like 2/3 of the books. It's not, I have been reading for a while, but I'm just at 2/3, so that's how you know it's kind of have things on your brain, yeah.
So you haven't finished that book, right?
Yeah, but
so,
I learned.
Do you think that if right now you read that book again, you will have different perspective about any message in that book?
I think so, because when I was young, my perspective on life is different. Like, during that time, I'm still finding myself, but now I'm kind of have an identity of what I am right now, and I'm still developing. So I would probably kind of understand more into how I'm like this. Yeah.
Okay, so that's really cool. The next question I'm asking you is, nowadays we have like different platform of learnings, right? Like online platform. So how do you think about those learning nowadays that has differentiate from learning before?
Okay, so I think I grew up during the time where iPad and stuff exist, so it's not really that different. But I think that when I go to RMIT, when I moved to university, the way of learning of myself changed, because it went from all the information is given to me to I have to research for it, I need to learn about it, and I am encouraged by my lecturers to actually know what I'm doing. Like, I need to put myself in my work, I need to learn, okay, this is what I should do and why I'm doing it. I start to ask more questions of why. I start to research a lot, I read books, and if I want to, I will research deeper into it. Like, I can control what I am doing, and I can control what I'm learning, what I'm inputting to myself. And there's a lot more people who are willing to help me. And the thing is, when I go into the major, I am passionate about this. So obviously I will do more, because before there's a subject that I don't like chemistry and stuff. So when I go in here, I'm like passionate about learning, passionate about research. I found more things about myself that I really love research. I really love doing design and stuff. So I think that's what we learn. It's different from learning, and there's also online resources. There's LinkedIn Learning, there's YouTube channels, there's also Studio Binder is one of the things we learn on films and stuff. And it's really cool that now there's a lot more opportunity for you to learn, even if you have not that much time. There's a lot of option for you. You have less time, watch short videos. If you have more time, read books. So it's basically change is that you have a lot of option to choose, and it's your choice to take it or not. Yeah.
So have you ever faced any difficulties finding or researching for resources? Like for some courses, you may found difficult to find one material for your assignment or something?
I think there are times that I have that, but I just try to at least search deeper. Like, first I try to research it myself. I try to find, okay, I should find some books, and if there's no books, usually there are books. But yeah, but I would try to find books. If books doesn't work and I start to get lazy, I would just go on YouTube or LinkedIn Learning. There's a lot of people already doing it. So all we have to do is find where they put their information. But if it's easy, I just ask my lecturers. They're really nice. They just answer everything. If I want to, I just be like, hi, will you tell me? Yeah, so yeah.
So you actively seek for help, right?
Yeah.
So like you may find something like really interesting that maybe it isn't relevant to your assignment right now, but it's really interesting.
Oh, I have that all the time, especially when I search for reference of related work for my stuff, because I'm in design, so I need some design reference like art style and color palette and stuff. So what I do is, one, I have a Pinterest board where I just collect everything and name them, and second, I have a Trello page where if I find I have like columns. I'm like, oh, books on illustration, books on animation, blah blah blah, blah and artists and stuff. So I just put it in there. So I would note it down like I really like this person art style, but I cannot use it now. So how can I use it later? I just put it there with thumbnails. So I just document everything I really like. And if there's a time comes where I'm like, okay, I'm feeling I want to use this. So I will be like, okay, time to pick it up. But sometimes I like it a bit too much. So I would just be like, I'm gonna find a way to sneak this in. I did it all the time, so it's good.
So there are various types of online resources and platforms that you may find the material for your work, right? But have you ever experienced something that may be fake news, or they are just putting some bad thing to it, like the material isn't reliable?
Oh, all the time. That's when you go into forum and stuff. That's why always check your source before you read. I try to read from sources like ResearchGate or RMIT Library database. They have good online books and it's in the database of a school, so obviously it's probably good. And check the peer review article and stuff. So you know, okay, people have checked on this is actually correct and I can use it in my work. Or if ever in doubt, seek help, ask the library, ask your lecturers, ask your friend if you want to, but yeah, just ask people around it. So sometimes you cannot avoid fake news because sometimes information got updated, so it's got expired. So it's not really fake news, but expired news. So just need to try to do some more research on that. If you want to use something, just do some research on it, yeah.
So since you are a digital media major, can you tell me how do you compare the original artwork with the artwork that may be, stolen, and they just take the credit from the original artist?
That is very easy. So if you do, okay, I'm gonna take reference from Pinterest because that's where a lot of stolen stuff is. First, you look at the user. You just be like, okay, this person is posting a lot of different art style. That is weird. So you start to think, okay, this is probably stolen. And then you need to move it to Google image and they will find your sources for you, but you still need to double check that sources because sometimes people also repost stuff. So just track it and be like, and the key point to finding out whether it's the right place or not is you look at the whole page. If the artist keep this consistent art style, that is them. But if it's like one image with that art style, that's kind of sus. Like sometimes it's not that sus, but it's sus, yeah.
So how do you compare the experience of learning in your high school, secondary school with your learning now?
There's a lot more research to do. Like before, it's more like I'm trying to remember every subject because the subject I don't like, so I try to do it. But now I'm actively remembering it just because I like it. The fact that I like it is a big major thing that can input interest in me. I'm neurodivergent. If I don't like it, I don't study it. I don't know about others, but I do that. So now, before, it's like, okay, I just need to do this to pass. And now I'm like, I need to do this because I like it. And just do, but the different thing is, I do a lot more research. I do a lot more researching and learning about everything. And I try to ask myself, why? Why do I like it? Why does this speak to me? How did I do it? I try to understand why I like it. It is a lot of asking yourself the why question to find out the root of everything. Yeah.
So in RMIT, have you ever faced any courses that you didn't like it?
Oh, all the time. I tried there was a course called Interactive Medias. The lecture was nice. I just don't like coding. but I try to make it fun by, okay, I'm gonna do something that I like. I'm gonna have a project about, I don't know, my frogs. I like frogs. I do frogs. And I just try to make it at least 50% interested for me. Like, I really tried, but I understand that all those courses will help me in the future, so I just try to learn even though I don't like it, but I have to. And I just enjoy the way, you know.
So how do you do research and development for that course that you don't like?
Oh, first I try to sit down and be like, I love coding. I really do. I do love coding. I had to fake myself as that I do love coding, but actually I don't. And then I go, because it's coding, you shouldn't learn coding with books. It's kind of boring. So you need to find different way for you to learn it. So I go on YouTube and I found how to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for doing web design or doing game design and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is a very interactive and very fun experience. So, and there's like guide and stuff, so I can learn from it. So I try to make the experience fun for me. I don't care if I learn structures or not. I don't care about it. I just care that if there's something in my brain, that's good enough. I just need something in my brain. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so that's good to hear your sharing on this topic. Now that online resources are in plenty of platforms, how do you feel about printed books? How are they still necessary or are they still relevant to your life?
Okay, the thing is, I love books, and I don't care. I like online stuff too, but physical book, they have the juice of it. They have the layout, they have the physical touch, they have the textile. You can smell it. It smells good. So you can just pick up a book and be like, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna touch it, I'm gonna feel it, I'm gonna be like, my baby. And then you could learn about layout too. For a designer, layout is really important when you want to print something. And the layout of online is different from layout of a book. The layout of online is like just flat image. But the books, there's so many things. There's printing, there's coloring, and everything. So I'm gonna take the animator survival kits. So I'm gonna put this child here. So if you look at here, right, cameras. So you can learn a lot by just looking at this. You can flip it. You cannot flip online book, but you can look at it a lot and you don't get like bored. Your eyes, like, don't look at the screen too much. It could kill your eyes, but just look at the book and you can reread it if you want. You can do that for online, but rereading on here, it's just special. And you can take note on the books, not online. I don't like it. I just like note on the book, and it's just that I'm just really enjoying books. Just hold it. It's got weight to it. It's got texture. It's got the feel. I'm very hype about books, but yeah, I love books, my babies.
So I can see that you prefer physical books for the experience of reading, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me that when you read the same book online and physical book, how do you feel different? The enjoyment, the comprehension, everything. How do you feel about reading the same book online and on physical book?
Okay, I have read this book online, and I would have to tell you, I hate it. I hate the experience. It's a very detailed, dense book, and it's like an art book where they draw and stuff. So if you look on the screen, it's so small. Even if you have like big TV screen, it doesn't feel the same. Like in here, you can reread it if you want to. You can be like, books, look at it and understanding it. But if you look at the screen for too long, you start to get dizzy. So choose your books that you want to read, online or offline. But if it's art book, I just prefer offline. It's nice.
If you have enough money, would you rather buy an iPad with tons of like an online library in it, or you just buy a physical library?
I mean, I am a digital media artist, so I have an iPad. I just don't read on my iPad because I hate it. I already look at it a lot when I draw, so I don't want to keep looking at it to read. It's like a hobby. So I would just buy a lot of books, and I have a lot of books at home. I love children's books. It's one of my favorite things. I read it so much. I bought so much stuff. I mean, it's kind of a lot of money, but I love it. I spend so much money on it. But if you give me money, I would just buy more book. I would make my own library like here. You know what? I would love to live here, but the school doesn't let me. So
Yeah, me too. I really love the library and the experience of roaming around the library, right?
yeah.
But don't you think that like online resources are more convenient than physical books? I mean, they are really good, but they are heavy.
It's heavy, yeah. So that's why I choose. I'm like, okay. When I choose book that have a condensed type of information. Like this book is a whole collection of history on every design movement. There's a single book they are, but the thing is, this one is condensed. I don't like to carry a lot. I already have my giant laptop. It could break my back. So I like everything that is condensed. But sometimes there's a book that you cannot find offline, so you do on the internet. But I don't like reading it. I hate it, especially. Okay, it's not related to book, but it's like research paper. I would just love to print it out to read. I don't want to read on the screen. So also tips on choosing books in libraries. Choose those that got recommended by people. Choose those that is condensed, or just don't choose a lot of heavy books. Don't break your backs. Oh no, it's that. Okay, it break its backs. So just don't break your back, please.
So how do you know if that book is condensed?
Oh, so basically you look at the, how do you call it, the what is agenda of a book?
Table of content.
Yeah, the table of content. You look at the table of content, you're like, okay, that's a lot. I like that. I'm gonna choose that, and be like, scan it, be like, oh, does it have enough information that I want? Does this answer on my question? Or you can just flip a few pages and be like, does this person write really good and really detailed? If not, either you choose a different book or you just add more books to it. But I'm lazy on carrying the books home. I love books, but if you make me carry it home, I would break my back and I would cry. So I like to do things condensed. Like, it's not really condensed, but it's got a lot of information. Yeah.
So you like physical books, but you don't want to break your shoulder, break your back. So how do you balance your experience of using physical book and the convenience of digital books?
Okay, so I would rule out. I would like, okay, will I read this book a lot? Because if I read a book a lot, physical book I go. But if I just want like a tiny portion of it, why must I carry a giant book home? I'm just gonna use it online. So it's just based on how much I'm gonna use a book, how much will I learn from the book, and what I'm feeling those days. Like, if I'm lazy, I'm not gonna be like, walk up the library, borrow some books, bring it home. I'm just gonna be like, bye, going home, bye. Yeah.
I really loved your insights today, and I'm so sad that we have to conclude the show after the last topic for today. Before we conclude, do you want to give any message to the audience out there? Any advice for choosing books, reading books, or anything you can tell the audience?
Okay. If you want to read, just read. I don't care what you read. I don't care what genre you read. I just care that you read books. Choose the book that you like. Why must you follow people? Like, you should read psychology. You should read stuff. No, just follow what you want. Just read what you want. You like comics? Read comics. This is by Scott McCloud. So it's a comic about teaching you to draw comics. Just do it. Who cares? Who cares what other things? Just do what you say you want, do what you think, read what you want, just do whatever you want. I don't really care about that. Just do what you want. Just read what you want. It's book, do what you like. I don't know. Just read funky stuff. Be who you are, yeah.
Okay, so thank you for your advice. I really hope that the audience out there can get your advice and find some books that fit their life, their decision, their career development, anything. So thank you again for joining us for today. So this is the end of our second episode of Turning Pages podcast with the participation of Bạn Chau. Thank you guys and see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye bye.